If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is February the 28th, 2024, and today the topic is, where are the parents? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope that you guys had a terrific Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yeah, mine was good overall. Not too much to report. I mean, yesterday was like my Saturday, a day of rest, a day of just work in different capacity. Honestly, yeah, from the time I woke up yesterday, I was working on different tasks and things of that nature. But I took some time to do the juice yesterday, and that's about it. That's about all of significance I would say that happened. Yeah, I mean, I had some conversations, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do about my car and how we're going to handle that situation. My rental is going to be due back this Friday, so it's about to get real interesting around these parts. But you know, I married a man with a plan, so he has a general plan in mind for how we're gonna handle it and all. So we're gonna see what the Lord do. I'll let y'all know, I guess, what updates and whatnot. But yeah, man, that's the majority of yesterday, the main gist. But when we talk about this conversation for today, um, basically, I want to let you guys know the inspiration came from a dream. Now, of course, I did not write the dream down. I know, womp, womp, womp. I need to do better at that. I know that. I thought that this morning after I woke up, but I just didn't feel it to write it down for some reason. I remember majority of what happened in the dream. I feel like I was having the dream over and over or something. So it might have been like a continuation or whatever. So last night, um, the main thing I remember is being on some type of ride or something, and it seemed like it went nowhere into like a wall, and then eventually the wall opened up or something. And it's like I was seeing these different people in a building, and so in this building was like all these kids, like babies, different kids and whatever. And I remember myself asking, like, where are the parents? It wasn't like they were doing anything too bad or anything, but they just was in there. There's just so many of them and stuff like that. That's the main thing I remember about the dream. I think there was some other things that happened, but I can't remember those things at the moment. But obviously that stood out to me enough for me to write that down this morning and look it up when I woke back up this morning. Um, so yeah, that's where the inspiration of where are the parents comes from. As I went deeper this morning, I listened to the prayer meditation. I did all the stuff that I usually do. Um, but yeah, I went over to openbible.info, plugged in where are the parents, went to gotquestions.org and plugged in where are the parents. No, actually, I didn't plug in where the parent. I think I put in like first I put in parents, and then I read an article that I think might be just for me or whatever. And then I went deeper, and I ended up looking into good parenting, because the first article that I read had me thinking about good parents in particular. And so then I went there and came across the article that I put in the Go Deeper section for you guys to peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. And that one is called what does the Bible say about being a good parent? You guys can check that article out if you feel so led to do. But yeah, man, I know we talk about this all the time here on GSL, man. Being a parent is a very, very important thing. It's an important job, it's an important task. It's an honorable task as well. Like, we should be honored that we are graced with the opportunity to, you know, um, be a part of the creation of life, as well as being entrusted to lead and guide a life, right? But I mean, y'all know I'm like 5 years into this parenting game, and things of that nature. And I think, every now and then I feel like, man, pat myself on the back, be like, I feel like you're doing a good job, Miracle. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you all right. Like when my son out here praying and singing and stuff, I'd be like, you know what, I might be doing all right. um, and I'm sure, of course, there could be things that I may need some improvement. Actually, I asked him this morning, I say, do you think I'm a good mom? He said, you are, like real quick. He's like, you are. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, well, why do you say that? Like, what do you think makes me a good mom? The first thing he said was working. So I'm like, okay, well, and what else, like particular for you? Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, y'all, again, I don't know like why the Lord put this on my heart and mind this morning to talk about where are the parents. I don't know why he gave me that dream and things of that nature. But again, like I said, it led to this conversation, lets me go deeper. And I mean, y'all might not fully like the things I'm going to share because a lot of this talks about discipline. And I know these days people take issue with discipline, because I feel like that comes from people that have been abused. You know what I'm saying? That comes from, people that have done it the wrong way. I can't sit here and lie, man. I've been, disciplined, you know what I'm saying? Like throughout my life. Now, I don't recall having to get disciplined like a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? And I don't recall it being abusive or anything like that. Um, but I had to get a spanking every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Now again, I don't think I had to get too many. I don't know how many I got in my years, but I mean, I think the last one had to be like probably middle school. And that's just me being gracious because I don't really remember. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it had to be middle school, maybe or a little bit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, yeah, my son had to get one yesterday for the way he was acting on this video while y'all was live and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not against giving a child a spanking, especially when they're and I know this might sound bad or whatever the case may be, but until they're able to communicate and things of that nature, like they need something to let them know that, hey, what you're doing is not good. And that's a conversation that me and my husband had to have and whatnot in the beginning as well. Not that I was, my newborn or whatever, but once NJ started to move around and once he got bigger and stuff like that, and he couldn't talk yet, but he was doing, things that he wasn't supposed to do. You have to give them a little tap or put them on the wall, whatever you need to do, and there's different methods. I'm not saying just beat your children all every day, all day, or nothing like that. And again, you guys know I'm against any type of abuse because I've shared with you guys things in the past that I've seen, horrible things that people are doing to kids, and I'm like, let's not even talk about the sexual abuse. Like that's a whole nother thing. That's on a whole nother level. But some, I think the worst thing I've seen is the image that I told you guys about. It was a video where I saw some man had some kid tied up by his neck without bottoms on and was hitting them. You know what I mean? Like looked like it was with a stick or something. And I tried to share it on social media. Of course, they try to block it where y'all can't see. But and I'm not sharing it to like embarrass the child. I'm sharing it to let y'all know that this type of crazy stuff is out here. Because before I saw it, somebody would tell you about the horrible, crazy things going on in the world. But sometimes until you see it or until it happens to you, you don't care. But anyway, that's on a whole nother level. You guys can look into Allie and her story and her testimony at alliesarmy.com because that's where a lot of information when I met her and heard of her stories, when I saw way more things about the abuse that happens, yes, to children. So I'm not talking about that. I'm totally against that. But I am for what the Bible has to say as well. Like, again, I've had to get spankings in my life. My son has had a few, it's you have to be the parent at the end of the day. Like I was asking in the dream, where are the parents? At the end of the day, we see the results of not parenting our kids, right? Trying to be their friend or trying to let them just do whatever they want to do or whatever the case may be. Now, yes, I give my son probably way more freedom than I had, as a toddler. Well, he's above a toddler now, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's able to, talk and it pretty much express himself. He's able to, ask questions and all type of different things like that. And for the most part, I would say in our household, he seems to be very independent. Like, he'll ask, like, can he make a sandwich? Things of that nature. Like, we've instilled in him some independence. We've instilled in him, manners and things of that nature. And that's how we do it in our household, and again, everybody got their own households, do what you want to do, but I'm just going according to what the word of God say as well. So y'all might not like these verses that I'm getting ready to read, but if you're interested in being a good parent, then I hope that you guys stay tuned and be encouraged and inspired by these words. And I mean, I guess even if you're not a parent, maybe this could still be a word for you, right? Like, because maybe you experienced something in your past where you didn't have a good parent, right? Maybe they didn't discipline you, or maybe they did and they did too much, right? Hopefully, hearing the words that the Bible has to say about parenting will encourage and inspire you too. Okay. So here we go. Here goes some verses, y'all. Proverbs 22:6. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it." Here I am, a living witness of this, y'all. Again, obviously, everything that my mother instilled in me as a child is what y'all see growing and flowing through me today. At the end of the day, I have no clue where I would be if she was not my mother, and she did not instill the things that she did. And that's just that. I mean, and I'm doing my best to do, pass that on or pay it forward in my son's life. Again, I don't know if he would be singing and praying if I didn't go, take myself back to the church, you know, do that summer Sunday challenge, and now be working at the church the way I am. I have no clue like where my son would be spiritually. And that's huge. That is a huge thing to me, at least. And so, if nothing else, I believe that I would still the word of God into my son. I, try to encourage him and inspire him to have a relationship with God. I think I've tried to model, what it's like to study and things of that nature, and pray and worship and all of that. And so, I don't know how that's going to affect him when he becomes a man, right? But I hope and pray that he will remember these things, that he will be, even though he may fall short, right? Because we all do. He might, turn away for a little while, or something like that. But I pray that he comes on back and know that he always has a home in Jesus Christ, right? Speaking of that, when it comes to this whole train up a child thing, like I tell y'all all the time, it's very interesting the conversations I have with my son. Like, I know my mom said, she's like, until he says mommy, it's almost like he's your brother or something like that. Because we do just kind of talk. Like, the way I'm talking to you now is pretty much how I talk to my son. And the interesting thing is, like, sometimes, again, like I said, I forget that he's just 5. You know what I mean? Just because the way he talks and the way that he communicates. And so, for example, the other day we were, I think I was coming back from work, and he has strong opinions about my new coworker. Not that he's like don't like him or something like that, but he just kind of like, oh, he's always telling me to do something. That's what his main response about my coworker. And so he's like, why is he there? And I'm like, he works there just like mommy works there. He was hired to be there. And then NJ's like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that. And then NJ goes, what does hired mean? It just was the most hilarious thing when he said it, because I was like, yeah, I guess you wouldn't know what hired mean, huh? But again, with us having the conversation we was having, and him having those strong opinions and being like, oh, why is he there? And, just really communicating back and forth, and then having to be explained, or, having me to have to go deeper, right? Explain like what that word meant that he didn't understand. A word that I guess any adult knows, is a reminder for me that I have to train him, right? I have to teach him. I have to teach him words that he don't know, or I have to, be there to answer questions that he might be confused about, or things of that nature. And for some reason, it seems like we as parents are dropping the ball in those areas. You know what I'm saying? Um, we're not there to answer questions. We're not allowing them to ask questions, because I feel like back in the day, I ain't gonna lie, and I feel like some other people that grew up with me, they kind of feel the same way. I feel like we wasn't really allowed to ask questions like that. Like, I mean, and no shade against nobody in the parenting. I know we got to respect our elders and things of that nature. And I think that was pushed more so than like asking questions. You know what I'm saying? And and being inquisitive and things like that. So, I mean, I would encourage and inspire you to go ahead and communicate with your child, because those children have questions, man. Those children are actually going through things. Like I told you guys, the result of adding prayer into intentional prayer into the children's ministry over there at Mountain West. Like even last Sunday, I had a little girl come up during prayer and say, "Hey, I'm being bullied, X, Y, and Z, and I just want to be brave, and things like that." And I'm like, you know, if we don't make a safe space for our children to be able to communicate the things that they're going through and what's on their minds and on their hearts and things of that nature, like what are we doing as parents, y'all? So if you're listening to the sound of my voice and this is resonating with you at all in any way, I hope you're encouraged and inspired to get to know your kids. Give them a free, open, safe space to communicate to you. You might not like everything they say, you know what I'm saying? And you can, again, let them know the parameters and things of that nature. Obviously, don't let them be cussing and whatever else, stipulations in your household. Respect you as the parent. And again, I have that conversation with NJ all the time. Like, look, you need to understand what our dynamic is. At the end of the day, I love you, but I'm your mommy, and things like that. And you're not my daddy. So we gonna have to have an understanding about what's going on. Like, you don't tell me what to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, it goes the other way and things of that nature. And so anywho, but having that communication with the kids, man, having a open and safe space, be that open and safe space for them so they can come and talk to you versus trying to get that from the world. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Let's go ahead and get into another verse, y'all. Ephesians 6:4. It says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." That's two different things, right? Again, you can discipline and instruct your kid without, uh, driving them to be in wrath, and driving them to and pushing them into to being, combative and things of that nature. Like, again, my son might not like the discipline X, Y, and Z that he might get or whatever the case may be. And again, my husband has a whole nother method with the military background. He got him doing push-ups and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And me, mommy, I might have to do some different stuff. I might have to put you on the wall, send you to your room, or give you a spanking. We different. But the thing is, we both communicate to him. Like, that's one thing that we both consistently do. Like, before he gets whatever the discipline is, or uh maybe during, or whatever the case may be, we make sure he understands like what led up to the discipline and things of that nature. And so then there's no wrath from that. Like, at the end of the day, he's humbled and he understands that, what, I didn't do the right thing. Now we can maybe we'll do a Q&A with him after, for those that want to confirm all of this and stuff. Maybe we'll do a little Q&A with him in my after show this morning. I'll let him come in here and I'll ask him some questions or whatever. And y'all can get his perspective of the discipline that we give. But I think that he understands, like for example, yesterday when we had the conversation, or when he did what he did online, we had a conversation afterwards, and he did get a little spanking or whatever. But we had that conversation beforehand. I said, "Hey, son, what are some things that you did wrong?" And he told me the things he did and things of that nature. And so, again, there's a way to do it, parents. Like, don't be out here just beating your kids. And that's another thing too. Like, I would say, in the beginning, not to say, I don't think I did too much yelling, but there was some times where I would be, kind of feeling in my heart some way. You know what I'm saying? You know how you feel that anger or whatever the case may be about whatever the situation is, and then you find yourself taking that out on your kid. So I try to make sure that, like, that's not what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna come from a place with anger and start spanking you. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you need to calm yourself down before you discipline that child. Things of that nature. Because, let's not take our anger out on the children. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, they're going to fall short. They're not going to fully understand things. We got to train them, right? We got to teach and train them. So because they don't understand, let's go ahead and humble ourselves to be like, you know what? There was a time that I didn't fully understand either. Let's calm down for whatever it is. Yeah, they might have broke the vase, right? They might have broke the window, right? And that might have made you angry. You got a new bill to pay, right? Well, calm yourself down before you discipline that kid. That's my humble opinion. Again, you guys can take it or leave it, but that's just something to think about. Because if you're going to take out anger on the kids, right, then I believe that that's a way that you're provoking them to wrath. And the Bible's telling us not to do that. But anyway, Proverbs 29:17, it says, "Discipline your son and he will give you rest. He will give you delight to your heart." I mean, at the end of the day, listen, like I said, I was disciplined. And I don't think I gave my parents too much to worry about. Like honestly, I, I feel like I mean, again, no shade to my parents or nothing like that. I appreciate y'all, everything like that. Um, but my upbringing led me to be very independent. You know what I mean? My upbringing led me to pursue independence. And I don't know if my family likes that, to be honest. But I mean, I feel like in order for me to be who I am and to do the things I'm doing and things of that nature, I had to kind of get to the place where it's like, okay, now I can focus, right? I can focus better, and things of that nature. And so, but I say that to say that I don't think now, yeah, they can come on here and tell y'all themselves. I mean, but I don't think that I've given them too many things to worry about, right? As an adult and as a child, right? Whatever discipline that I got in my youth led up to decisions and whatnot for my adult life. And so again, I felt like, yeah, okay, I'm not perfect, right? Again, y'all can read my whole story in the cultivation period. I sit here and tell y'all every day how I fall short, So I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm perfect in that. What I'm saying is there's a lot of things I avoided um between childhood and adulthood. There's a lot of things that, again, I listened to my mom when she said, hey, learn from other people's mistakes and things of that nature. So I would make observations and be like, if it's something that I didn't necessarily want to experience, I did my best to make decisions that helped me not to experience those things. And then on the flip side, things I did have to go through and learn, right? But again, that made me to be who I am today as well. But, I don't feel like I'm putting pressure on my family in these days and times of my adult life, and so that's just something to think about when it comes to the discipline. Like, the discipline you give now will, I guess, set up what the future is going to look like. Are you going to be given the light and rest in the future by your child, or the opposite? So that's something to think about. Now, Proverbs 23:13. This might be the one y'all don't like, but this is what it say. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. Let that marinate. Y'all might not like it, but how many of us died from our spankings growing up? I'm still here, live and well, talking to y'all today. Okay. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people that had good parents. Now I ain't talking about the abuse. Now I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about you got a little spanking because you did something wrong. You stole something out the store. You broke a vase. You cussed somebody at the school and thought nobody won't say. Like, I'm talking about the stuff you did wrong and you got disciplined, and you still here to live and tell the testimony. Like, at the end of the day, um, we have to decide as parents, what do we want our child's future to look like? Do we want to go ahead and discipline our child in their childhood, so then that way they can grow up to respect authority and to know right from wrong and things of that nature, right? Or do we want to allow them to do whatever, right? Go the other route, and then the government and the law enforcement disciplines our children? Is that what you want? Or the people in the streets disciplines our children? And both of those that we know they could end up in death, though, you know what I mean? What do we want? And what do you want for your child? Now the Bible tells us, there's a verse in there, I don't think I wrote it down this morning, but it's basically saying that if you, is it in here? Did I write it down? No, I don't think I did write it down. But the verse is telling us that if you withhold disciplining your child, you don't love your child. So I mean, listen, like, I don't know why I'm going so deep about this today. Again, I do believe that this parenting, conversation is important. And obviously, again, the Lord will put it on my heart and mind, where are the parents? At the end of the day, again, you have to decide as a parent what you want your child's future to look like. Now, you know your child, right? Well, you should. And if you don't, then you need to start getting to know your child. But ultimately, as a parent, you should know your child. Now, some children might not need too much spanking, right? Some children might need more, conversations, and again, maybe they need some time out. Maybe, you got the type of child that needs, different types of discipline. Now, there might be some children that need a little tap on their hand or tap on their hind parts or something like that to let them know that, hey, X, Y, and Z. But see, here's the interesting thing about that. One of the things that stood out to me as I was reading those verses, I think all of those verses really, is it talks about children. Okay, now I thought about going deeper about like what that age range should be. But I think we know what child and children represent. But if not, go deeper and look at them ages and whatever. This is what you need to be doing in their childhood. So when they 18 and up, you ain't got to be worrying about whether you gonna be having to punch them and all the other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, we want to let stuff go up until they get older and then be confused as to why we gotta, the discipline ain't working. I'm trying to discipline this child now, it ain't working. It's because you didn't discipline them in their childhood. That's when the discipline is supposed to be taking place. Because, I mean, again, now, I done got some spankings. I done admitted that. But I didn't have to get too many. After I got the first few or whatever it was, you know what? I don't want no spankings. Let me not do nothing that's going to get me no spankings. Like, I put 2 or 2 plus 2 equals 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to gather that as a kid. Now, some people may not be able to gather that. Maybe they might need extra. But, I believe the more you do discipline and whatnot as a child, and then prayerfully, as a, teen and an adult and things of that nature, hopefully that time, that's said to be smooth sailing, because then that's a whole nother set of issues with like puberty and, all the other things. But I mean, at least some of the basic stuff you probably won't have to worry about if you discipline them as children. Things to think about. I'm just throwing it out there. That's what the words say. Okay, so don't come at Miracle be like, well, Miracle, you try to tell me. No, the words say don't do that. And to do that, Anywho, the last verse I felt led to write down this morning was Proverbs 29:15. It says, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. And listen, I know we know what that looked like. Man, this morning, I think it was this morning, I saw a video of some young woman that was twerking graveside on top of somebody's grave next to the casket at a funeral. I saw recently, and I did share this on the Actress Miracle Sims page, or I tried to at least. Y'all can probably see it. I shared it yesterday, so y'all should be able to scroll and see it. I saw apparently a 9-year-old boy getting twerked on by a stripper. I don't know if they was in some club, where he was at, but listen, where are the parents? Where are the parents? Because see, this is the type of stuff. See, if that ain't bringing shame to the mother, both of those scenarios, everybody involved in that situation, then I don't know what is, what else is shame. So these are things to think about, y'all. I mean, go deeper. Again, if you're a parent, or if you're about to be, or if you want to be, or if you even been through some stuff, whatever the case may be, I hope and pray that you guys go deeper about all these things. Read these verses for yourself. Go check out that article over there at gotquestions.org. The juice is that, hey, parents, you're needed, you want it, and we need to get on our job, and that's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Daniel 12:3. It says, those who are wise will shine as bright as the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars, or shine like the stars forever. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month.
take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.